So there is a lot of talk going around involving student loans, and I wanted to throw my hat in the mix. Not because I'm an expert. I know little about economy. I don't know a ton about money. I'm not a millionaire. I've never made more than like $35,000 a year. But what I do know is my very specific situation I'm in, the very specific circumstance I'm in. And that circumstance, I want to talk about that. And it's probably like less than 0.5% of the population. So I can't speak on everyone that got student loans forgiven, but I did. And I can speak on people in my situation. You see, I see people that I would say err on the side of Christians, conservatives, talking, posting, conversing about the student loan forgiveness, and saying things that I'm like, that sucks that you feel that way, because I wonder if we're part of the problem. Okay, so I went to college, and when I got out of college, I had two majors. I had a major in Bible theology and a major in youth ministry. And I had many years of experience on top of that. So I had experience in two majors, and I went to my first job where I worked at a church. And at my first job, where I used my college degree and my work experience, my offer was something, it worked out to be something like $10.11 an hour. Now, I'm not that old, okay? I'm only 36. I got out of college when I was 24 or something like that. So this was like 12 years ago. And so 2010, I was offered a job that used my degree in ministry in a church that paid about $10 an hour. And I think about that and I think, man, I just got forgiven $10,000 in student loan. And then there's this other thing Biden did where he forgave another $10,000 in student loan for the extra poor people that got the Pell Grant. And I was one of those people, right? So I feel super blessed because I owed $16,000 still on my student loans. I've paid on them ever since I had them. I haven't missed a payment. And I've paid them down from $40,000 to $16,000. And I'm at $16,000. I get this forgiveness. I get people that are so upset. And again, I can only speak to like 0.5% of this population that are in the same situation I'm in, but like, I don't know the shoes everyone else is in, but it's what's tough to hear is like other believers frustrated about student loan forgiveness. And it's like, the problem is for people like me, like the church is part of the problem. I mean, we're underpaying people that are preaching the gospel for a living, that went to college to preach the gospel for a living. We're paying them $10 an hour when they have two majors. And the Bible says like these are the types of people, like, and the Bible says these are the people that deserve double honor. You're like, double pay? But no. $10 an hour, right? So like, I'm in this position for many reasons, but one of the reasons I would say is because as Christians, we don't value what maybe God values in the same way God values it. You know, like we value the person that cleans our toilet, and we might pay them $50 an hour to fix our toilet if it's broken. But we don't value the people that do ministry. So much so that there's people like myself across this country that went to college to serve God in a very specific way, and us as Christians were like, yeah, you're worth $10 an hour. And then when those people's student loans are forgiven, we're sitting here complaining, and it's just hard to hear, because it's like, if I was paid more than $10 an hour at my first full-time ministry job that used both of my majors and my work experience, I wouldn't owe on student loans. And I can't speak to the greater 99.5% of the rest of the population, but I can speak for me. And I do feel like part of this problem for me and for people like me, for friends that I have that are in ministry that are underpaid, for people that are missionaries across the world and people that are serving God, for us, I think the problem is, as Christians, we're not cheerful givers. We're not people that are generous with our money. And too often we're asking ourselves the question, what is the smallest amount we can pay this person and keep them on staff at our church, rather than what's the greatest amount we can pay this person and not go bankrupt? And I'm not saying that way is right, but how come we never lean that way? Why aren't we generous? Why are we at this position now where the President of the United States chooses to forgive Simon's student loans because churches across our nation take advantage of and underpay people so much so that they can't even pay off student loans? And I'm an exception. My student loans were $40,000. I mean, like, student loans can be a lot more than that. So my encouragement to people is there are many sides to this story. And I would hope that after hearing my side of the story, maybe we understand it's a complex issue and we can celebrate for student loans being forgiven for certain people at least.